Welcome to another episode of Brainrich podcast. Today we have a special guest, CPA and UCLA instructor, and she teaches finances. She has an Instagram called Kids Money Academy. The reason why you want to stay tuned for this episode is because we're going to teach you how you can make your kids millionaires. Stay tuned. Legal disclaimer, this is educational purposes only, not a legal advice. Welcome you here.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. Happy to be here.
And we will jump right into it since our audience are busy moms and parents and they don't have a lot of time, but everybody is curious about how to manage money. So today we'll talk about money management and we want to learn from you. So I know you have an entire course, but why don't we start with the most interesting things and the ones that I would particularly like to know about is on how to properly hire your kids. And maybe we'll talk slightly about 529 plans.
That's wonderful. I have so much to share. Definitely the topic of hiring your kids is one of my passions. And when I realized that a lot of the information we see online on social media make it so easy, it's kind of misleading, right? There are a lot of nuances, and I want to talk about those nuances with you during this podcast. So if we start with the tip, if you have sole proprietorship or partnership with both partners are parents, LLC, even S Corp, you can hire your kids and save a lot of money. So you can do income shifting. If you have a business, your payroll expenses becomes deductible. And then from there, you can take the money, put it in your child's Roth IRA, and then set them up to be a millionaire, basically.
Yeah. So essentially, what we are talking about is that assuming you have kids, why not to take advantage of the situation and utilize what IRS allows us to do, but allows us to do in a proper way, right? So you're saying first set up an LLC if you don't have one, or a partnership, LLP, right? Limited liability.
Not necessarily. You can have a sole proprietorship and still hire your kids. You don't have to have an LLC or partnership or anything like that. You can have a sole proprietorship and profitable real business, and now you can hire your kids. So as long as you do everything by the book, it's not going to raise any red flag to IRS, but there are rules that you need to follow so that there is no any red flags, basically.
Well, let's say if you do have LLC, from what I remember, you can deduct, what is it, up to $14,000 per, essentially pay your kid. What is it, 14,000 in that range?
Up to standard deduction, if you pay your child in 2024, it's $14,600. If you pay up to $14,600, your child is not going to pay any taxes, and that can become a deduction for your business. Having said that, you don't just hire your 3-year-old to do filing or cleaning for your office and pay them $14,600, right? The money that you pay has to be reasonable, and they have to do a real job. IRS clearly states there is no age requirement. So when you see babies modeling, commercials, Gerber baby, so obviously there's no age limit when kids can start working for the business or they can have their own business. However, it has to be reasonable. So if you are paying your child just cleaning or filing $500 an hour, that is going to be flagged. And you have to kind of defend your position. Maybe you would be wondering what would be reasonable salary for a child. So what you need to do is take a look at all the tasks that they are going to do in your business. These are real jobs. Like, you are not just writing on a paper and taking advantage of the tax code. You really want to hire your kids properly, put them on your W-2 payroll, and make them do the work, because you are going to track the time that they work in your business. And what you need to do is go to Google University and Google for the type of job that they're going to do, what's the reasonable going rate in your area. So, of course, hiring someone in San Francisco or, West Coast is going to cost more than middle of America. you have to keep that in mind. Also, keep in mind the minimum wage. You at least want to pay your child minimum wage. With that, if the cleaning job is $20 an hour, you don't want to really pay $50 an hour for your child.
Understood. And so, when you put your child on W-2, so obviously they have Social Security, do they have to have their own bank account
Yes,
to receive the
they
money?
are going to, what they say, follow the money. So one of the ways to prove to IRS that you are legitimately hiring your child is that you run the W-2, and W-2 paycheck of your child goes into their checking or saving account. And from there, then you can move the money into their custodial Roth IRA. And you want the money come out of your business checking account, not your personal checking account, right? It goes from your business to your child's checking or saving account. And then from there, then your child can use their own money however they want.
Yeah. Could you tell us what are the good examples of work? So let's say we have kids that are model in our play gyms, for instance. That is a real job. There are a lot of pictures, and it is a job, especially when you're trying to get a good shot and things like that. Well, what are the
Yes.
good examples? Can you just throw a few, just so we can see the scope, the range of possibilities?
Depending on the business, right? So if you're an age, now, although there is no age requirement, you know the capabilities of your child at age versus 10. So let's say I'm an accountant, I'm a CPA. So my child can do a data entry, cleaning the file cabinets, organizing the file cabinets. I do run Kids Money Academy. They can model for Kids Money Academy. When I start selling physical products like saving jars and things like that, they can help me out packaging those things. I do have a client, they run a cleaning business. For example, her kids fill up the soaps and they organize the towels and things like that. So if you have an Airbnb business, so they can help out with the cleaning, again, with modeling and watering the plants and things like that, because it's Airbnb is a business, right? You're not going to just give your child chores and pay them at home watering the plants and pay them. That's not a real job. But when you have an Airbnb business, them going eh, to the property after the guests leave and just cleaning up the property, watering the plants, that's a job. So these are some of the examples.
What about Instagram modeling? I'm just curious. So let's assume we have a mom. She wants to become an influencer on Instagram. Starts building her Instagram by posting content. It doesn't generate money just yet, but let's assume it's a matter of time. And she takes pictures of a newborn and maybe a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. Does IRS require for the business to make profit right away in order to be able to
No,
pay?
hire your child. No, you can hire, even if your business is not profitable, you can hire your child and you can start paying. Now, if you're not profitable, you're already, losing money. So are there a lot of tax advantages for that? No, because you're already not making money yet. But once you're profitable, then you'll start seeing the benefits more and more, the monetary benefits. Now, again, there is no requirement that says your business has to be profitable in order to hire your kid, but you will see the most benefits after you start making money.
But
You start making profits.
it still makes sense to register an LLC, right? Come up with if you don't have an idea just yet, to come up with any business idea, register an LLC, because if you have just one child, so what is it? We have $14,600. If your tax bracket, just to round it up, 30%, right? So you're saving, what are you saving? Well, it's a lateral system, right? So you can save, let's say $3,000 per child. So if you have two, that's close. It becomes quite expensive not to do it, right?
Exactly. Definitely the benefits outweigh the efforts that you will put in. Now, you don't have to have an LLC. I mean, setting up an LLC is $800 in California. Every state is different. You want to set up an LLC to avoid some of the liabilities that comes with the business. But in
So
order to hire your child, you don't have to have an LLC.
it can be sole proprietorship, like you said, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. So now you pay your child, right? And you're saying that they can become millionaires by setting up Roth accounts and things like that. So, in a few words, can you describe what are those strategies that you, as a CPA mom, do and would like to teach others in a nutshell?
Sure. So custodial IRA, basic Roth IRA is basically a special investment account or Roth IRA, similar to Roth IRA, but it's custodial Roth IRA because your child's a minor. You can open and you can start investing. Now, one of the requirements to be able to open that type of account is your child has to have earned income. When I say earned income in IRS definition, they either have to have a job or they have to have their own business. They can have a job by working for you or working for somebody else. Now, there are a lot of rules around what age can kids start working for other businesses because there's child labor laws, federal child labor laws, and state child labor laws. They are a lot more flexible with the parents hiring their kids. That means that you can hire your child even before they are 14 and you can set up this special account for them, the custodial Roth IRA. For 2024, you can contribute up to $7,000. Every year, this amount changes. It goes up usually. So in 2024, it's $7,000. That means that if you are paying your child through your business, your child can take that money and put it into custodial Roth IRA and start investing in index funds. And historically, index funds, when you look at the trends, it makes about a 10% annual return. So when you think about how compounding works, when your child has a job when they're 1 year old, 2 year old, and you start paying your child, even if they, let's say they stop working at a certain age, they will for sure hit $1 million by the time they are retired. So that's what I meant by making your child a millionaire.
Yeah, essentially, as you mentioned, the index funds over a period of a long time, right? So by the time that they reach 18 or by the time they go to college, they will have a good chunk of money because of that compounding interest. You put 7,000 this year, you make 10%. That's only $700, right? But then you put another 7,000 and 10%
Right.
on, and another and 10% on all of that. Maybe 8% this year, maybe 12 next year, maybe 6 at some point. But over time, it averages out
Exactly.
to a good percentage.
And
Okay.
because they are young, they have time to ride the market. They can ride the roller coaster. If someone is just starting out investing when they're 40 years old, they don't have a lot of time. They have to be more conservative with their investing strategy. However, when you are a child, their portfolio can be a lot more aggressive compared to someone who is 40 years old. And they can ride the roller coaster and still make a lot of money.
So for busy parents, if they want to hire their kids, so what do? They go to you, they go to the local CPA, or what's their good process? Or just do it on their own?
Don't do it your own, okay? Because there are a lot of nuances. I do have a course called How to Hire Your Kids. And basically think about hiring your kids. The things that I split into three categories. One is the pre-hiring. Like what do you need to do even before hiring your kids? There are things that documents that you need to collect, things that you need to pay attention, such as state child labor laws. And then there is the process of hiring your child. And that is the like, what do you need to do exactly in order to be compliant with the IRS rules? What forms do you need to fill out? How much do you need to pay? Things like that. And then the third is the post hiring phase. In this phase, what are the documents that you need to file with the IRS on an ongoing basis? And then in my course, I do explain the options between the DIY, running your own payroll for your kids, or hiring or working with QuickBooks or some ADP or some other companies that they make it so easy, all of those filing that you have to do. But in order to even, talk to your CPA about the process, if you don't want to do it yourself, you need to know what to ask. Right now, if you go to your CPA, your CPA is going to be like, do you really know what you're talking about? Like, you want to hire your child? And maybe even your CPA don't know much about the process. So you need to be able to ask questions, inform questions so that they understand that you did your homework and you know what you're talking about. You're not just hiring your kids to do the chores. Actually, it's a real job and you are planning to pay a real money, and you do have a plan after they get their paycheck and things like that. So I do recommend combination of two. Like one, the parent can go through my course, and I'm always available after they finish the course. If they have follow up questions, they don't understand any part of
Mhm.
the modules, they can always reach out to me through email or my Instagram account. Um, and then if you think it's a lot to do and you're not really into numbers, then you go to your CPA and you're like, hey, I know these are the things that I can do. Can you help me with setting up the payroll for my child? So that would be the road that I would take. Also, this course is when you purchase the course, this is tax deductible because it's an expense for your business. So you would deduct the how much you paid for the
Yes.
course.
Personal development expense. Got it. Okay, very informative because it made me think about all the process. I don't want to get in trouble with IRS because then I would have to return that $14,000 and pay tax on that $14,000, things like that. That makes a lot of sense. Let me ask you this question. So everybody hears about 529 plans. In a few words, when you pay your child gets some money. Sure, you put $7,000 in Roth IRA, but you don't see that money. What about 529 plans? Is that a good idea just to set up Roth IRA? Don't touch 529 plans. Do both or choose one. What do you suggest?
Okay, so 529 plans, as a parent, you will be the account owner. Your child is going to be a beneficiary. The purpose of the 529 is very different than the Roth IRA. So Roth IRA is all about retirement and long-term investment versus 529 plan is a college saving plan and it's tax advantage plan. So the earnings are tax-free and the money has to be used for educational expenses approved by IRS. So they are two different types of accounts. I have both accounts for my kids because why not? Right? You want to diversify. Why put everything in the Roth IRA and not 529? And now, what you need to be careful about is for 529, even though your child is a beneficiary, you are the account owner. If you want to be really conservative, I would not put the money in from my child's paycheck into a 529. I would put my own money as a parent into 529 and beneficiary is my child's, but I would not put my child's money into the 529 because they're only the beneficiary and beneficiary can be changed anytime. You are the account owner. So if you put the money back into a 529, you are basically paying your child's money into yourself again. And I don't think this would look good on paper if you ever get audited.
Got it.
That's my honest answer. I always go more conservative than others. So I would not put my child's money into 29.
And 529 plans, are they limited to the state you live in, or you can use it all
W-
over the state?
No, they're not just limited to your own state. So every state has its own plans. You can have a plan from Utah, live in California, and your child can go to school in New York. So there is no limitation what you can sign up for as a parent or which state your child can use the money.
Got it. Another exciting topic. I want to know, what do you teach kids, which you wish every kid had when they exit high school, for example? And what do you do with that in your
You
program?
definitely don't start teaching your kids about money when don't wait until high school. I wish all parents would set up an allowance system that works with their family. Allowance system can be based on chores or just fixed allowance every week that your child gets. And from there, I wish every parent would set up a 3 jar system for their child: save, spend, give money jars. And every Sunday, give that allowance to their child and let them budget and let the kids have control over that money. That's the number one. And then from there, you build on top of it every year different money skills. Now, my son is 11 years old. My daughter is 6 years old. My daughter, she's been budgeting since she was 3 years old. My both have UTMA, UGMA accounts. Probably you will ask what they mean as well. And there are different type of investment account that they do take portion of their allowance. It's up to them how much, and they invest every week.
Mhm.
Sometimes, so my 6 year old gets $6. We go by age. My 11-year-old gets $11 per week.
Oops.
So my 6 year old gets $6 every Sunday and gives me sometimes $1, sometimes $5, and says, "Mommy, I want you to invest this money." And then I take it literally, my Fidelity account, I transfer from my checking. Like if she said $2, I promise to them that I will match 100%. So if she says $2, I put $4. And
Mhm.
I make the transfer. I show them the transfer, and they get all happy when I make the transfer. And then they make me check every other week. They make me check how much they have in their investment account. And as you know from statistics, a lot of the families in the US, they don't even have $1,000 to cover their emergency without charging on a credit card. So I can probably say my kids, they do have a more than that amount just by taking money out of their own allowance, like, $6, $3, $2 over time. And then they see the investments, the index fund going up, and just making comments like, "Oh, I make money doing nothing. I love this investment idea."
Let's say your kids are doing $5 per week. So this is what, 52 weeks, $260 per year. That's literally a ticket to Disney park. Sure, you have to fly there and get there, but that's $5 per week. Gets you one ticket to Disney.
One of the things is my son, he is a big saver, and my daughter is a spender. So I need to emphasize to my son also, he needs to enjoy his money, right? That's why it's not all about saving. It's also spending on the things that you value. But once you get your allowance, first separate how much you want to invest. With the rest of the money, you can do whatever you want. Spend on Roblox. I don't care. Like, that's your spending money. You decide how you want to spend as long as you invest portion of your money. So we are working on that with him. And then my daughter is, of course, she wants to, take all of her money and go to Target. And then we have to remind her, "Hey, what about investing?" And then it's funny actually. She quickly changes her demeanor and she's like, "Oh yeah, oh, I want to put like $2 in my investing account. I love investing." So it's
But they probably
yes.
still negotiate with you. They're like, "Can I get this $500 PlayStation? And then I will still invest $3."
Like, if they save up for that $500, I have no problem whatsoever. Like, yeah, they can spend their $500. But what they know is money in the investing account, you never want to take out all of your investing all at once, because then you have $0 to grow, and compounding interest doesn't work that way. So my son was kind of negotiating with me, at what point can I take money out from my investing account? And I
Mhm.
said maybe like $20,000, because by the time I think you will be like 16 and you will want to get a car. But he's like, okay, like if I have 15,000, I'm going to take the $5,000 out of my account so the $10,000 can grow again. So now he's starting making the connections, right? And then
Mhm.
when you see that, it's like, wow, this is cool. This is really working. What I'm doing is working.
That's great.
Yeah.
So let's just sum it up and make people excited about investing and money management and things like that.
Yes, definitely. We covered a lot during this podcast, like hiring your kids, 529 allowance system. It was all great. I just want to say that it all comes down to parents. You are the most influential person in your child's life. and you have a huge opportunity to help out your child as they grow. And one of the ways to do it, just being proactive with the financial literacy. So my community is at Instagram Kids Money Academy. I have thousands of people, like-minded parents community over there. So stop by for sure and say hi if you hear the podcast and ask your questions. I always respond my DMs. That's my most favorite. And then also check out Kids Money Academy. We always have new workbooks, anything that we can help. We are in the process of creating right now. Thanks again for inviting me. This was wonderful, great conversation, and I would love to come back again.
Absolutely. It was
Yes,
pleasure having you.
too. Yeah.
So yeah, it is really important. The impact you're creating literally lasts with kids for the rest of their lives. So you're doing a great job educating the new generation. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.